the fake sign directly over the apartment at 12:40 p.m. The Ontario Police Department are flying over. It's vibrating the apartment, and this is while Tracy Banks is on the phone with third-party Daryl Mandy. He's already published onto the video of the internet. The people of the state that she's talking to on the phone are the means of federal stalking. And as I'm documenting the criminal conduct that she's engaging in while the fake sun remains over my head inside of the apartment, an impossible light activity is rapidly vacillating along the blinds, appearing again in a different location, just vacillating. All right, and here's my magnified size of my shadow, not sunlight, and also the engineered light that's behind the door. The moment that I began documenting her criminal conduct against a blood relative that she's keeping under surveillance with the Ontario Police Department, which is why she's going to federal prison, I want to be clear, the demon that she's on the phone with, Daryl Mandy, he's engaged in group stalking with the Ontario Police as well. That's the basis of federal prison. Her phone records are speaking to the criminal that she's group stalking with, engaged in federal stalking with right now. Again, it is currently 12:41. She walks into the apartment, engaging in the elements of monitoring, is group stalking in the kitchen in relevant position. And as I document her conduct, which she is aware of, this is a demon, and so are all the people of the state that are group stalking at this address, including Avanaf Communities. This is a demon in the first parking lot space, that's space number 20, I believe, and the vehicle is representing the people in apartment 41. Avanaf Communities is group stalking by the employees, the vendors, and the residents who are engaged in state surveillance. Where the fake sun is, the entity is stalking a helicopter, which you've already seen, and they showed to the whole world flying in circles over this apartment complex last night because I was documenting the same entity, and it's going by the name of Tracy Banks. Possible light activity as that's documented. The entity is immediately flying over, which is a threat that Tracy Banks is posing. That's a demon, and that's a psychopath. Laughter is audible activity. This is impossible light that's on the ceiling. You're looking at one door, closing the door, light is fanned out. That's impossible light activity, and it's also impossible that at the same time at 12:42 p.m., remember Cal Fire is crossing paths in the hallway at Hesperia's Holiday Inn at 9750 Key Point Avenue. And while that light source is seen through the hallway window, a demon representing the state, Cal Fire, is group stalking at that hallway on the third floor, walking out in the staircase while impossible light activity, just like this, which is not sunlight, is on the wall and on the floor, and it remained visible through that window as late as 3:05 p.m. There's no sun that's going to be over Woodside Senior. This is also not sunlight. It's totally detached and has nothing to do with that light source. The audible activity, which is by virtue of your conversations on a communication device, and then you're subject to terrorism as you document that demon that knows exactly what it is that you are documenting about them. That's the same entity that's group stalking with the state. Again, that is Tracy Banks. Group stalking by living at the place where you're paying rent with all the people of the state. This is filled with impossible light activity. Mike Lorenz, want to be clear, and Tracy Banks are not different. They're both demon-possessed group stalkers. Mike Lorenz is in a corrupt position of leadership over the demon-possessed department that's engaged in state surveillance. Tracy Banks is acting in concert with that corrupt entity that represents the state, and a population is engaged in that pattern of conduct. That's why a fake sun is concentrated presence over this apartment, and you can see it through the activity that remains throughout the apartment for the duration of the day. All right, this is light activity that is separate and distinct from the maintenance of the light source that's not over Alvarado Gardens, while you're looking at the light source over Woodside Senior as well. This is the P.O.C. and the entity is engaging in a documented act of terrorism, flying over, vibrating the apartment in sensational activity while you're group stalking a relevant position, threatening and terrorizing your own blood relative while you're a hostile demon to the documentation that you are aware of is being captured while you're engaging in that conduct. You're going to federal prison by virtue of the relationship. That's a potent threat that you pose in the shoes of the state. It is currently 12:44 p.m. This is documentation of malice and impunity by the people acting with the state. P.O.C.